Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Marketplace. Coming up this afternoon, Attorney General's office rejects Capital Bank's proposal for a 27 million cedis refund. We'll tell you why. Also coming up, stranded Ghanaians in South Korea pleads for evacuation as some threaten to demonstrate at Ghana's embassy in Korea. And later in the bulletin, residents of Ghana's eastern border town of Aflao unhappy with continuous closure of country's entry points. We will hear from some of them on the impact on their business. Stay tuned after the break. Welcome back to the Marketplace. In our first story this afternoon, Ghanaians in South Korea are pleading for evacuation. Some stranded persons who applied for the evacuation exercise say they are ready to pay anything for a flight to get back home safe. They say the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been silent on plans to evacuate stranded residents from Japan, South Korea, and China. I have been joined via Zoom by Richard Zinleri, who is a Ghanaian resident in South Korea and also into foreign trade. Thanks so much for joining me this afternoon. Richard, it's always a pleasure having you.
We are grateful to have you, to have us on your show, Sandra. Thank you very much for having us once again.
First of all, tell us how the Ghanaian community is faring in South Korea and how many are stranded and willing to come back home.
From the month of May, we had a communication from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs through the Ghanaian embassy here in Seoul. And Ghanaians who were stranded, a number close to about 100 people. And the number could have even been more. But because the notice was really short, when we received the notice on the 13th of May, the next day, which was the 14th of May, was the deadline for the notice. So quickly, most of the Ghanaian community leaders and associations had to reach most of our businessmen who are stranded, including students who are trying to get back home, get their data, compile it, and then send it over to the embassy. And afterwards, it was sent back to Accra, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So it's been over a month, and we haven't really heard anything much about the evacuation plan. And we have seen most of our brothers and sisters in countries like the UK who were evacuated just 2 days ago, or brothers and sisters in the Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, and other places, and things are happening for them. Then back in Ghana, we hear about the briefings by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Kojo Pon Nkrumah. And in most cases, South Korea, we never hear about any plan for us. So our people feel very much alarmed as to what's going on. Are they really going to stay here for much longer? As I speak with you right now, most of them have run out of hotel bills. They can no more pay their bills at the hotels. Some have been thrown out of the hotels. Some are pitching with friends. Some are also sleeping in places which is not too good. And most of them are also threatened to converge at the embassy in order to demonstrate about the delay in evacuating them.
Right, so we'll get back to that demonstration exercise that you have planned. But first of all, I was asking whether we know the number of people who are stranded in South Korea as we speak.
As we speak, because of the short notice, we gathered close to about 80 to 100. But afterwards, there were lots of other calls coming in indicating their readiness to also join the evacuation plan, but it was too late because the data has already been sent. So let's say 100, between 80 to 100 are stranded here in Korea.
Right. Okay, so earlier this week, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had a press conference, and then they actually brought out a schedule. The minister indicated that there is also going to be a schedule till the end of 2020. Have you had any official communication as to whether your plan of the 2020 plan, the broader picture, which the minister spoke about?
Thank you for asking that question as well. Actually, the main concern of the persons threatening to demonstrate is the fact that there is no follow-up communication after their data was collected. Okay, they really want to hear about timelines. They want to hear about the mode of payment. They also want to hear about the flight cost. How much is it going to cost them because they have to prepare? And as I already told you, most of them are businessmen based here, and they go and they come back and forth. And lots of containers have already arrived back home in Ghana. So they have to be in Ghana to take care of their businesses. They have to join their families. They have a whole lot of other schedules to take care of. But the borders are closed. But here is the case: countries like UK, US are evacuating their citizens from Ghana, our country. It means that at the government level, something could be worked out and then they'll be taken home safely. But no forthcoming communication is getting them alarmed. Yeah.
Okay. Another issue of major concern to many Ghanaians abroad has to do with the money that they are being asked to come and pay as part of the isolation fee. Not so many of them are happy with the $100 daily isolation fee. What is the body language of these people who wants to come home? Are they in favor of this daily $100 fee that is being proposed by government?
Most of the stranded Ghanaians here in Korea are ready, willing, and have confirmed to the embassy they will be paying the flight cost to evacuate them. But then the quarantine fee that they have to pay when they get back to Ghana, it's been speculated that it's about $100 per night, including the hotel and other expenses. And this is also very, very high, and they would like to appeal to the government to have a real look at the $100 fee, and if possible, reduce it to the barest minimum, because they've really been stranded. They've spent a lot. They've lost a lot of capital, and they don't want to come back home and undergo a quarantine, which is really expensive. So it's an appeal that the government should really look at the $100 quarantine fee that has been speculated. And if it's not true, there should be a communication indicating the exact figure that each country or Korea has to, undergo when they arrive in Ghana.
All right. You mentioned earlier that you're planning to demonstrate if you don't hear anything from the ministry and also from government. What will it take for you to rescind the decision to converge at the embassy of Ghana, the Ghana's embassy in South Korea?
Yeah, me personally, I happen to be part of the Ghanaian community leaders here in Korea. So most of these cases come to my doorstep, and I have to engage the embassy, and I have to also engage some ministers of state back home that I have their contacts for clarifications. So some of the threats that I do receive from our members who are so frustrated and stranded is that they want to demonstrate. So we try to calm them down, that we are still getting in touch with the people who matter in this case, for us to really know the way forward. But still they kept threatening to demonstrate. And we may not know when. It could be tomorrow, it could be next week that they will hit the embassy to demonstrate. Yeah.
Let's get into the other part of what you actually do, which is importation of goods into Ghana. You are not too happy, and you deal with salvage cars and all that from South Korea into Ghana. You're not too happy, and a lot of the Ghanaians who do that business in South Korea are not happy about, the policy banning salvage cars over 10 years into Ghana. What's your take on that? Government has said that they are doing this because they want to promote the assembling plants that are coming into the country. And so it's a way of, cutting down importation of those cars so that they can also produce at affordable prices for Ghanaians. Why are you not happy with this new policy?
We believe in competition. We believe in competitiveness. And if any foreign firm or company would like to establish in Ghana and to assemble new cars and sell to the Ghanaian markets, that is good enough for our economy, in the wisdom of our lawmakers and in the wisdom of our ministers of state for trade and industry. That is really okay. But to the extent that we, the Ghanaians who rely on the used car importation and export business to feed families, to employ thousands of people back home, for all of these businesses of ours who are natives of Ghana to go back because a foreign firm would be established, aided to run new cars in Ghana, and that would go to the detriment of our business. That is where we feel so much worried, you understand, and agitated, because usually you have to engage stakeholders, so to speak, whenever you have a policy in the industry. But this thing took all of us by a surprise. Even when the law was signed into a bill, it was just later we got to hear it was on April 30th that it was signed. And October 1st this year, all cars below 2009 can never enter into Ghana. And people have already done consignments, containers on the ocean freight coming. So assuming your container arrives in November, it means that what happens to your goods? And salvage cars, which are accident cars that are being banned, it's so shocking to all of us because practically speaking, if you don't have salvage cars coming into the system, how would the Aboagye and the spare parts dealers have, spare parts to sell to the market so that old cars can be replaced? This is really, really not good for the industry, and it's a big shock to all of us. Without due consultations and things are happening like that, it's really not good at all. They really voted to see some changes of a sort, but suddenly the changes that are coming is rather going to our detriment.
Right. So you also want government to speak to the shipping lines to scrap the rents and then also demurrage. Why are you saying that?
After we load cars into containers and we wait for it to arrive or dock at the thermal ports or tech ready, we also have agents on the ground who give information as to how things are at the port. And as I speak with you now, maybe your viewers and the Ghanaian business community, even back in Ghana, would attest to the fact that things are really slow at the port right now as I speak with you. The new Unipass system that was introduced is not functioning to its fullest ability. Things are slow. And even in this case, government should watch out very well. They are rather losing revenues because a truck, which is a daywood track that, for instance, when they enter into your details and the duty has to be around 21,000, they use the manual entry procedure. Manually, they enter the details and then it comes out to be like 20,000. And some peasants are busy taking sidekicks behind, and then the whole government revenue is going down the drain. The Unipass is not working like it's supposed to work. Before the Unipass, we used to clear about 20 containers at the port in a day. But today, as I speak with you now, containers are not being cleared enough. It's really slow because things are being done manually. And there's a stockpile. So when it happens like that, things can move fluently. So people complain, agents complain, and we, the people who also ship into the country, cannot clear them as fast as we want them to be cleared because time is money. It's a whole
well said. Richard, I'm afraid we have to leave it here. It's always a pleasure having you on JoyNews. Thanks so much. Grateful. And please stay safe, stay home. Thanks for joining me. Thank you. And we'll move on. Meanwhile, some members in the import and sale of second-hand cars here in Ghana laments that the COVID-19 pandemic is taking a toll on their businesses. Speaking in an interview with Joy Business, the Greater Accra chairman of the Automobile Dealers Union of Ghana and CEO of Irata Moto, Edi Kusi Adomako, says they're feeling the pinch from the pandemic.
Been selling one or two, that is sometimes you have one or two people who be coming who need a car, they buy it, but it's not normal. Like the normal times, car sales has totally dropped down. And I would say, in fact, beginning of the year, things started picking up that you see in every economy or in everywhere during the election time, or my experience here in Ghana is during the election time is where people patronize and you can make some money. So beginning of the year, things were started picking up, showing symptoms of good business. But because of COVID, it dropped, and seriously, people they don't have the money even to come and buy. Everybody's thinking about being at home, trying to. So where is he buying the car to? Yes. So I think it will take a time for customers to settle. And
are you considering? I mean, your association in this part of the country, are you considering approaching government for any relief?
Yeah, it's true. We were told that this package has come out. So we went to the office. The office, I think, is under office of the Trade Ministry. Yeah, we went to the office at Accra, and we were giving the explanation about getting some money, giving up some monies, and you have 1 year free interest, and after that you pay about 5% or 3%, something like that. Yes. So some of our guys has applied for it, and I think it will help them. It will help, yes.
So they are applying on individual basis and not as an association?
No, they do that on an association will submit your names. So individually, when you belong to that association, you go and mention your name. Okay, I'm just so and so car dealer, and they will look into the data and see indeed if your name is being included in that association you are mentioning before they will consider it. It's individual application.
Let's head to Ghana's eastern border now of Apla, where residents say they are feeling the impact of the border closure. My colleague Fred Duho has been interacting with some traders who have expressed disappointment at the president's silence in his last address to the nation.
We were closure of the border, you see, caused a lot of problems. We were hoping that the president will make a statement concerning opening of the border, but nothing of that sort. So everybody is not happy.
Yeah, we were very disappointed because we are expecting him to open the border for we, the Ketu South, we those who are the Ketu South here.
What we are facing right now, one city can never solve our problems.
So how much can solve your problems?
Yeah, bilateral trade is what we need. And somebody from Togo, somebody from Ghana, then we can make our life more complete. Things are not going well because they have closed down all the companies. Now the companies are not paying tax again.
I'm managing and I'm to one way in Udova. I'm managing. Do I want to have food and I mean to? You know, Hamia do when we got doing at the high for Plahazudo.
No, me the children, me manada Casamu. I'm a recumber in a mere sang. One of the team of Hoyema and Mamma Cacasayato. What Villasin young Duga? Maganya dollar le mia wula. Fiolo.
Now they lock the border, there's no job for us. So we are pleading the government to open the border. The way it gives the chance to the students, people, they are going to school. They are going to, I think they open the lockdown in Accra, in Kumasi also. They have to open the border for us so that we all will get free. This is the 5,000 CFA. You have to bring about 49 Ghana cedis and have the 5,000 CFA.
How much will be your commission in that?
Our commission is just about only 1 cedis in this one. About 10,000 CFA, we have 2 cedis on it. We are not getting anything.
I have this. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm bringing it for Ghana cedis.
For Ghana cedis, you get 97 cedis. You understand me? You get 97 cedis.
Border closure, is it not affecting this business?
It's affecting it. We are not getting nothing. It's affecting us seriously. Right now, we are more down lockdown. Because many of us, money is supposed to come from Togo before we get something in chop. Money is supposed to come from Ghana before we get something in chop. Now everything locked. Nobody is coming to buy anything. Nobody is coming from this place. The border is closed.
So far at the Togo-Ghana border, activities are picking up. You can see the numbers growing as vehicles transport goods from Togo into Ghana and vice versa. I am Fred Duho reporting from the Togo border for Joy Business.
Thanks so much, Fred Duho, for that report. You're still watching The Marketplace. My name is Sandra Salamapeno, anchoring from home, and I'm back with more after the break. Welcome back to the program. We move on to other stories this afternoon. The Attorney General's office has described as unacceptable the proposal by founder of Capital Bank, William Atoyesian, to refund 27 million cedis to the state. Chief State Attorney Mariam Apia Opare said the AG's office has decided to reject the proposal since the terms are unfavorable. Court correspondent Joseph Akable joins us via Zoom for more on this development. Joseph, we do know that the Attorney General is saying that the terms in that proposal are not favorable. Can you tell us why the state thinks that the terms are not favorable?
So the state did not explain to the court the specific reasons why it feels those terms are not favorable. But except that we are aware of some of the terms in that particular agreement. The first we know is that the amount involved is 27.5 million cedis. The other issue is that we know that he had already pointed out in that agreement again that he has already refunded some 1.4 million cedis to the state. The third being some 19 cars that brand new cars we are told that had been imported into the country, which he said had been seized by the Economic and Organized Crime Office. And so all these form part of what he was refunding, which he will be adding a certain amount to it. We understand the concerns the state has to do with the arrangement of payment of their outstanding amount, if it even accepts what is being offered currently. And that is what the state says is totally unacceptable. And so it informed the court that it has since rejected that agreement. Mr. Essien, we understand, is bent on having 4 of the charges dropped against him. And so his lawyers have quickly drafted a fresh proposal and sent it to the Attorney General's office. The Chief State Attorney informed the court that new proposal is currently under consideration, but a decision has not been taken yet as to whether to accept it or not. And so they said that, mind you, the charges against him are 26, and this 27.5 million just relates to 4 of the charges. And so the State Attorney makes the point that they want the court to now proceed to determine the case and hear the substantive case, because if they reach the agreement or they don't reach the agreement, there's still a case to be tried. So the judge adjourned proceedings to July 9, directing that if by July 9 they do not have an agreement, he's going to proceed with the case. If they have an agreement, then those 4 charges against him will be dropped. Then the state to proceed with the remaining charges against him. And
all right, quickly, in 30 seconds, quickly before I leave you, in 30 seconds, we have run out of time. There are also concerns about trial proceedings. What can you tell us about that?
Say that again.
There are concerns about trial proceedings. What can you tell us about that in 30 seconds, please?
Yeah, so the point relating to that was about the fact that the case was delaying. The Chief State Attorney made that point, but lawyers for Mr. Essien said that they want to clear this particular repayment agreement before they can proceed with the trial. And so we're expecting that on July 9, the trial will proceed.
Grateful for your time, Joseph Akablaze, our court correspondent. And that's how we end the program this afternoon on the Marketplace. My name is Sandra Esenam.